Good morning. Good morning. All right. So markets are back up a little bit today. A little bit. Some optimism. All right. Some optimism before Nvidia earnings, Fed minutes report, and tomorrow's labor report. Let's see what we get today. Good morning. Let me drink some coffee. I gotta wake up a little bit. Here's to you guys. All right, guys. So Target had earnings. They missed revenue pretty significantly. They're down a little bit from 88s to 87s. So it's honestly not that big of a drop. My target position is actually still green, believe it or not. Meta is up today. That's good. Home Depot. Or Meta's kind of flat right now. Home Depot is up slightly. And stocks are green so far today. Today we have the Fed minutes report. We got building permits and I think housing starts data at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time as well. Hey man, frostbite. I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds scary, brother. That sounds scary. Glad you're okay, dude. Hey, thanks, bro. Yeah, man. Sounds scary. Bitcoin still sitting at 91s. I think the next level is 90. Why do I think the next level is 90? Well, because we bounced precisely off of 90. Look at this V-shaped recovery we did at $90 right here. Here's 90. We bounced literally right off of that for Bitcoin. So that's what I'm looking at for the next rebound here. We'll see what happens, though. It's still definitely a scary looking chart. But it held at 90, which is, I think, a good thing. Here's Nvidia. Nvidia actually announced a deal with Target this morning. Gold is up. Yeah, gold is up to 41s still. Nasdaq's up as well. I mean, look, Nasdaq closed yesterday. Previous closing price 24,531. So that is right around here for the previous closing price. So we have gapped up about this much in the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq is green. Optimism after a couple days of kind of crashing down. We are green on the Nasdaq today. Oh, dude, I don't know if I like messed with my back yesterday or something. Problem is, Carol wants to sleep with the bed, like acid reflux. And so the problem is that, like, it's like this, you know, and then I fall asleep. It can't be good for my knee. And now my back is all wacky, you know. Anyways. Hey, what's up, Frostbite, Keegan, Steve, Ava, Skrelly? What's up, dude? Ava. Kava. I like to eat at Kava, so I'm just gonna say it's Kava. E. Lewis, Brian, Pawn, Pew, Halo, Ryan, Ash, MVK, Hugh, Michael, Sparky, Philippe, Snake, Ed, Doctor, Super, 5-4. My knees don't really hurt, to be honest. My knees feel fine. I went to my MCL doctor, my orthopedic, and he said my MCL's healed basically right now. Like, I can't train jiu-jitsu again right now, but it's essentially healed. I got to give it a couple more weeks and up the physical therapy is basically what he said to get it back running. All right, guys. Yeah, non-farm payrolls will be released tomorrow. It's the delayed September data, but it's going to be released. We also have PPI inflation next week, PCE inflation next week, GDP data next week. So next week's actually really busy as well because we're getting some of those delayed data reports that we didn't get. If we take a look at yields this morning. Where were yields yesterday? I can't remember. Okay, so we're basically flat over a 2-day period in yields so far. Here's yields. This is where they were. Yields were opened up about here yesterday. We are about right there. So basically 4.1% is where we're at for yields right now. If we take a look at the rate cut odds today, and we do have the Fed minutes report later, it's going to be a busy day for me. We're still 50-50 split, but we're now 49-51. So 49% versus 51% here for rate cut odds. So we got about a 50-50 shot of a rate cut. A lot of it's going to depend on the data that we get. I think Nvidia earnings today is the biggest thing, though. Nvidia earnings today is massive. And that has the chance to push AI stocks up or crash them down. We will see which one we get today. But again, yesterday we had the ADP preliminary weekly employment report. You can see it right here. 2,500 jobs negative 2,500. And so the last time we were negative 11.25, this time we were a negative 2,500. So still a negative number, but not as negative as last time. Still not good numbers. Negative anything is still pretty bad for a jobs report. And we'll get the September report for NFP data tomorrow. But yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. We did have a lot of people pushing for a lot of different things here. Moderna, they do earnings. Let me see. We had Target. Target came in at 178 EPS versus 176 expected. Revenue missed, though. Slightly missed. And they are down slightly from this report. We had TJ Maxx. I guess that reports in about 7 or 8 minutes. Lowe's posted. They beat EPS, missed revenue as well. And we got some other companies that are dropping. Wix, Bullish, Williams-Sonoma. Wix beat EPS and revenue. Sonoma missed EPS, beat revenue. But yeah, that's been taking up some of the news today. And again, obviously, the main event today is going to be Nvidia earnings at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're releasing earnings at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Nvidia earnings. It is a massive catalyst for markets. And really, with markets scary over the last few days, a lot of eyes are going to be on Nvidia earnings. You know, we'll have thousands of people here when it drops, and it's just going to be a pretty big thing today. So I would just be very, very careful. You think Bitcoin will test 90K again and go lower this time? I don't know. It could. I really have no idea what Bitcoin's going to do. It's at the whim of the sellers, to be honest, at this point in time. Yeah, a lot of people think Nvidia is going to beat and then drop. That's not a crazy thesis, to be honest. It's not a crazy thesis. It certainly could happen. I don't know if it's going to, but it could. Gold, again, elevated today. Nvidia's back up some, and Nvidia's been pretty volatile. It's been moving back and forth a lot between $80 and $90 a share. So, like, here's 90, here's 80. Nvidia's been chopping back and forth, down, up, down, up. It gets down to $180 and bounces typically over the last week. Gets up to 190 and rejects up there. So, we'll see if it can break that range today. Let's do a poll. With all the big catalysts today, like Nvidia earnings, FOMC, Fed minutes, and more, does the market close red or green? Oh, my question is too long. All right. So we got the poll going live, and the poll goes with, oh my gosh, I gotta end it immediately. Don't vote on it. I gotta end it immediately. I'm just gonna say, with today's Nvidia earnings, Fed minutes, and more, does the market close red or green? Red. All right, guys, vote on the poll. Music stop. Not markets. Not in the context of market. Anybody's ever seen margin call? Uh, yeah, guidance is incredibly important. Yeah, stock futures slightly up. Yesterday we what did it let me see. What did SPY do? SPY is pretty green too. Markets were mostly flat yesterday though. Some they pushed down a little bit at the open, they pushed up, but they closed relatively flat on the day, I think. Actually, most of the markets closed red, believe it or not, but slightly red. Like we had a little bit of a rebound later in the day, but we had gapped down so much yesterday morning that indices were slightly red, I think. To make sure. 604s on the Q. Yeah, so we closed red yesterday. Again, Adobe is nearing a $1.9 billion deal for software provider SEMrush. Fitch Rating says global sovereigns outlook is neutral for next year. Yeah, so I did see Larry Summers resigning from OpenAI board. Yeah, if I was him, I would resign too. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but shame on him. I'm back. I agree with the thesis on Nvidia. Their circular financing will get scrutinized more this time, as the projected profits for the companies that are supposed to buy their chips may not materialize. Yeah, no, 100%. I think they're spending a lot of money. They better back it up. What's up, Michael? Video will hit 190 and slide way down after market open. Maybe. Looking at our poll, we're honestly almost completely 50-50 split. 49% are red, 51% are green. Looking like the Fed rate cut odds as well. Do you guys think we'll cut or pause in December? Cut or pause in December? Let me know. What do you guys think? Here's Nvidia though. Nvidia's looking strong over the last 3.5 hours. Nvidia's pushing up over the last 3.5 hours. Cut. I think we're gonna cut as well. I think maybe the labor reports are gonna show weakness by then, and they're gonna cut. Yeah, I don't know who Larry Summers is, but get him out of there. You know? Cut. Expected to cut, but who knows? Cut, but the market will go down still. Cut. Why is gold up? Gold's probably up on uncertainty right now ahead of these earnings. We got an AI deal. It wasn't the AI deal you guys wanted, but it's Target and OpenAI doing a deal. The question is, like, look, okay, I'm in Target. I want Target to go up. It's a tiny position, and I'm actually net green on the overall position because I've already cut most of it a long time ago, and this is a tiny piece left. But I'm in Target, and I want Target to go up. But OpenAI and Target announcing a deal for retail just seems forced. It seems like Target's like, hey, what could make our stock? What can make our stock go up? I know what can make our stock go up. Let's do a deal with OpenAI. Nonsensical, you know, but let's do a deal anyway. The announcement of that deal surely will help our stock go up. Target's down, you know, a couple percent morning. So yeah, I mean, I'm not buying it. Maybe they'll get a deal done. I mean, maybe the deal will massively benefit Target stores. But Target's down today. Lower sales, less people visiting the stores, they say. TJ Maxx just reported earnings this morning. TJ Maxx posted 128 EPS. They expected 123, revenue of 15.1. They expected 14.83 billion. Quarter 3 EPS guidance at 133 to 136. They expected 137. A little bit of a miss there for guidance. I'll put these numbers up on screen. Now the Fed's not doing a rate cut today, Satoshi. Today's the Fed minutes report. It's not a rate cut decision today, sir. Discretionary income is drying up. You heard it here first. Well, you heard it here first. Today it's not a rate cut decision, my kind sir. Great content. Thanks. Thank you, Orphan. All right, so Nvidia's move to use smartphone-style memory chips and AI servers could cause server memory prices to double by late 2026, according to Counterpoint Research. Due to each server requiring more memory chips than a handset, the change is expected to create sudden demand that the industry is not equipped to handle, according to news wires. We are seeing this pump up in the NASDAQ. Look at NASDAQ rip here. So yeah, December 10th meeting is when we'll probably get the cut. But again, it's not a guaranteed yet. It's 50-50 odds. Remember, we do have quantitative tightening ending in 11 days. What's driving the NASDAQ higher? Is there a stock doing it? Let me see. Meta. No. Google's pushing up almost to 290s. Oh, dude, I don't know what I did last night. But, bro. Doing a bunch of crunching. Dude, I gotta tell my wife to stop it with the freaking making us sleep. Like, both of us are sideways sleepers. But, oh, dude. Lay the bed flat. The mama pawn. Yeah, NBA mortgage rate numbers showed up higher for mortgage rates. Purchase index came in at 168. 30-year mortgage rate showed up at 6.37% versus 6.34% expected, or 6.34% last time. I mean, so higher than last time for mortgages. Refinance index showed 1156.8. Previous was 1247, so lower. Applications are down 5.2%. Previously, they were up 0.6%. So mortgage applications down. You definitely became less bald. Good job on the transplant. Bro, I was never bald, dude. How dare you even insinuate that? Bro, look at this hairline right here. Dude, I'm the top 3 least bald person in the world right now. Honestly, I probably would never get a hair transplant. Like, bro, have you ever seen videos of people getting those things? Those things look intrusive. I'm not getting one of those, dude. Okay, I'm just gonna shave my hair if I start losing it. But my dad's in his 70s and he still got his hair. I'm pretty sure I got the same hair. Top 3 least bald person in the world right now. You know? Yeah, I know. I was 100% baited into this. I'm just now thinking this in my head. But, yeah. I accept that. I accept that. That's right, Chavo. You know, bro. You know. All right, guys. So Bitcoin still under 91.5 thousand. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not getting one. Yeah, well played. I guess I gotta give it to him. It's supposedly your mother's father's side. Yeah, my mom's dad was bald at like 25. And so I had a scare when I was 25. Knowing this information, I started panicking. I started looking into it. I think the doctor even wrote me Propecia. But then I looked at the side effects of Propecia and I was just like, nah, I'm not taking that. You know, if my hair, you know, I'm not going to put that out into the world. I'm going to have hair when I'm 70. Not implanted hair either, you know. But yeah. Anyways, guys, let's see if this 24/700's just a pivot away from the hair conversation. Let's see if 24/700 holds. I was gonna buy this 24/700 dip. Nvidia's still ripping up. Gold's still ripping up this morning. Bitcoin is not ripping up, although it did bounce exactly at, again, look at 90,000 right here. 90,000 even, basically, right here. Look at this level. We bounced precisely at that level for Bitcoin. I have to imagine investors, traders, people are watching 90,000. It just makes logical sense, psychologically. And so, again, I'm also watching this 24/700 level. 200 exponential right here. You can kind of see where we bounce again. 200 exponential. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Again, markets are slightly up. A little bit of a... There's definitely less fear today than there was yesterday or Monday or Friday last week. Definitely less fear today. We are heading into the Nvidia earnings report. And regarding that, Wolf on Nvidia... They say all attention is on Nvidia earnings after the close, with the market expecting a 6.4% implied move in the stock. Despite a 35% gain this year, Nvidia's forward PE has edged down from 31x to 29.5x, which is good. The firm attributes recent tech weakness to positioning, profit taking, and hedge fund degrossing rather than fears of an AI bubble. It's definitely fears of an AI bubble causing some of these drops. Of course, people are getting nervous and selling, right? Like that's something that's very clear, I think, despite which way the market's going. Something that's incredibly clear is that people are nervous about overvaluations in AI. It doesn't mean we're going to crash or not bounce, but people are obviously worried about it. Still, Wolf argues that AI bubble concerns are overstated for now and says tech and communication services companies should handle any soft economic data. Firm remains a buyer of AI stocks on weakness, but wants either a strong Nvidia report or more oversold technicals before buying more aggressively. Michael Saylor also tweeting, never back down. Yeah. Adobe nears a $1.9 billion deal for software provider SEMrush, according to the Wall Street Journal. They're set to pay about $12 a share for it. And again, we bounced right there. I should have bought 700s here. Look at that. Yeah, again, long gold? Yeah, I mean, gold's up there. Should have bought the 700 bounce. Bitcoin very sideways over the last 3 hours, though. And again, Nvidia just put out some news that said that their move to use smartphone-style memory chips and AI servers could cause server memory prices to double by late next year, according to Counterpoint Research. This is not Nvidia, my bad. But due to each server requiring more memory chips than a handset, the change is expected to create a sudden demand that the industry is not expected to handle, or not equipped to handle. Burry had a small contribution. Yeah, Burry definitely contributed a little bit to the fears. We started talking about it more even here when Burry started talking about it. Now, I don't know if Burry's track record over the last 10 years is necessarily good, but we have seen a correction in microchips and AI stocks. It's at this point in time, like the Nasdaq is down almost 6%, S&P's down like 4%, the Dow is down like 4% or something like that relative to highs. And so we do have some corrections in markets. Is it the end of the world corrections? No, not necessarily. And being in November, almost December, it's not necessarily typical for us to get big corrections. Sometimes what we do see leading into the holidays is we see drops in November, and then December starts and we start to kind of rebound back up, and we get what's called a Santa rally going into the end of the year. We also sometimes get the opposite, where we get downward pressure from what's called tax harvesting, where essentially businesses essentially are covering some of their losses so that they actually have losses on paper so that they owe less taxes for the fiscal year. And so sometimes we see tax loss harvesting at the end of the year as well. So what we're going to get, again, I don't know. Maybe we'll get a Santa rally. Maybe we'll get some push downs. But yeah. AI will never admit that they're wrong. Bro, AI was wildly wrong again this morning to me. And it's been bad the last few days. Like, usually it's good, right? I asked AI to summarize what's going on in markets this morning for me. And this is what it told me this morning. It said Target's down 18%. I'm in Target. I'm like, oh no. Target's down. What do I do here? You know, 18% is a big drop, you know. And then I look at Target and it's down like 2%. And I'm just like, okay. One of those situations where I'm glad AI was wrong. It also said super micro shares are up 25% in pre-market. And I'm like, 25%? That's a big gap up. And then I look at super micro semiconductors and it is up. It is up about 45 cents a share for a $35 company. So nowhere near 25% this morning. It had a green day yesterday though. So. I use a bunch of different ones. I use ChatGPT. I use Gemini. Hey, what's up? Green day, but after hours Nvidia drops, which they always do, then the Santa rally can start. I need a rally. This drop is hurting me. Yeah, I get it. Something going on with RAM and computer memory prices. Complexity. Let's see. Let me ask it to do it. Okay. Let me be specific. Today is November 19th, 2025. Listen, bullet. All right, let's see how accurate perplexity is. Stock futures up modestly in early trade as investors wait Nvidia. That's right. All eyes on Nvidia. Significant the stock. Investors are highly focused on the FOMC minutes report. That's true. Markets now suggest a 45 to 51% probability of a rate cut. That's true as well. Delayed non-farm payroll report is expected before market opens tomorrow. That's true. Yeah, honestly, perplexity is pretty solid. Oil prices are down today. Let's check that. Oh, wow. Oil prices are down. Look at this. Oil all the way down to $59 a barrel. Markets remain jittery and fearful. Yep, that's true. Corporate side, notable analyst rating changes. Honeywell downgraded by Bank of America. Illinois Toolworks upgraded. Various real estate investment trusts adjusted by major Wall Street banks. I like it. Hey, what's up, Blaze? What's up, Mama Pawn? Bitcoin's final landing. Where will Bitcoin's bottom be? Brent prices are up 150% a month. Yeah, it impacts a lot of stuff. Target told their employees to be nice to customers. Is Target employees not nice to customers? I'm trying to think of the interactions I've had with Target. Usually they're nice enough. I don't ever find them necessarily mean. Young people in general, modern age, are not the nicest. You run into like an old lady, she's pretty nice. You know? Isn't there something called like the Gen Z stare or gaze or something like that, where they just Nvidia calls for earnings. That's a risky buy, but good luck. I hope you make money. Again, I think Nvidia earnings today have have the chance to do a couple different things. One of them is continue the crazy drops that we're seeing. If we get negative reactions to Nvidia earnings, market might continue this scary drop. Or we could be saved. Nvidia earnings could react really well to, you know, and markets could fly higher. Also Marvell, I swing traded the stock earlier. I don't know like a lot about it though. I'm out of it. I haven't held it in a while. I don't know where I sold, but I'm out of it. I haven't held it. I held it for like a few days. It went up drastically and then I cut it. Yeah, it even admitted that it was hallucinating. So this is what it said. It said, okay, let me see what it said. Hold on. Yeah, I said Target is down nowhere near 18% this morning. It says, quote, "You are right. I apologize. I was hallucinating a major drop based on historical volatility." What are you talking about? Yeah, Adobe signing an AI deal with SEM Rush. It's like a $1.9 billion deal, I think, for Adobe, right? Or was it Adobe that's buying SEM Rush? I think it might be. Yeah. AI systems. Again, I might use Gemini in the future though. Gemini, I asked it to summarize stuff. It was pretty on point with everything it said. All right, looking at our poll, the green bulls 52%, 48% bearish, 52% bullish today. Yeah, today we got Nvidia earnings. We have the Fed minutes report. We got a bunch of stuff. Cancel the Santa rally just like everything else got canceled this year. List all the things that got canceled. What got canceled this year? The AI deal buzzwords are hurt. Yeah, I mean, listen. I'm in Target. Like I said, I want Target to go up. But Target, OpenAI announcing a deal with Target. It was just kind of like, all right, you know? You know what I mean? Like, what is Target and OpenAI going to do together? You know? At this point in time, OpenAI is like Oprah. It's giving out AI deals to everybody. Regardless of whether it makes sense. And I'm in Target. I want Target to go up. I wish Target did go up on this news. But again, I think investors are generally smart people. And they understand they might just be throwing some deals together for... Nasdaq very flat this morning, though. We do have Nvidia earnings today. It should be interesting. We also have housing starts. Oh, dude, what happened to my neck? My back. Is that a song? I think it is a song. I don't think I can sing the song, though. But, dude. Ugh. Why do you think AI is capable of predicting the future? Who? I don't know. There's this one time I asked AI what... I can't remember what report I asked it for. I think I asked it for inflation. And it gave me the correct inflation before the inflation report released. Now, I think it got lucky, but... Doctors say I need a backiotomy. Is that a Samson's quote from Half Baked? I think it is. All right, guys, we are at 720s. Nasdaq 720s. Yeah, I've probably seen Half Baked 1,000 times. It was one of the first times I watched Dave Chappelle. Again, look at oil though, guys. Oil down to 59. AI is being used. Yeah, I'm sure accounting. I would say like one of the. I'll put it this way. I did my taxes this year mostly with AI, and I have an accountant as well. And the number I calculated before I sent everything to my accountant was basically the same number that my accountant sent me, you know? And so it's getting pretty good at stuff like that. And I would assume that AI systems are going to kind of overtake a lot of the accounting world pretty quickly. I'm sure, I mean, it's also going to make accountants, it's going to make it easier for them to compile the data that they need, but it's also going to, you know, because of that, make it really competitive and easy to compile this stuff. And so in turn, maybe they'll make less over time because it's so easy to do now versus historically where you'd have to manually do all these, you know, computations. Bookkeeping as well, yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. It's Sir Smokes a lot. Yeah, that's right. That's right. He's singing a song about Samson, is what it was. Yeah. Yeah, we don't have a rate decision today, guys. Today we have a FOMC minutes report, which is a detailed file breaking down why the Fed chose to make the decision that they did in the last Fed meeting. We're going to see how hawkish they really were in the last Fed decision, which was a 25 basis point cut. I'm assuming they were pretty hawkish, and it's going to be data dependent today, though, just based off of what they said during the FOMC press conference 3 weeks ago. You know, 3 weeks ago, they cut rates 25 basis points, but they also came out pretty hawkish, I would say. Jerome Powell had his now famous quote, which says that a rate cut in December is not guaranteed. And then we've also had a lot of Fed members over the last week come out essentially reiterating the same thing, saying, hey, it's not a guarantee that we cut rates. A lot of it's going to depend. Again, we got PPI inflation coming out next week. We have tomorrow we get jobless claims, unemployment filings that we missed. We get the labor report that we missed tomorrow as well. And depending on what that looks like is going to change the odds. If we get really weak labor report tomorrow, high jobless claims tomorrow, that's going to push back the pause chances and increase the likelihood of a cut in December. And the next week, again, I think we get PCE inflation next week and PPI inflation the day before. So I think Tuesday next week, we get PPI inflation. And then Wednesday next week, we get PCE inflation and GDP data, I'm pretty sure. So we got a lot of stuff dropping in the next 2 weeks. Again, we had ADP preliminary weekly employment report yesterday. It showed negative 2,500 jobs. Last time was negative 11,000, but it's still negative. Here's the zero number, and you can kind of see we're still pretty negative right down here. Here's zero. Any negative jobs report is not necessarily good. It shows more of a reason, more of justification to cut rates. Nasdaq starting to pull back down a little bit. We're at 24.7s here. And if we take a look at what's expected for Nvidia earnings today, they're expecting $1.18 EPS versus on 54.59 billion in revenue, 54.6 billion in revenue, essentially. Again, $1.18 EPS on 54.6 billion in revenue is what we're looking at. Yeah, you still make money, but that's it. Yeah. I think the expected move that I saw was like 6.4%. 0.4%. Yeah, tomorrow is September jobs, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Tune in. Tomorrow's big. I mean, we got a lot of stuff until then. We got the Fed minutes. We got Nvidia earnings. We got a lot of stuff dropping. So. Yeah. AI stocks that innovate, get a buyout, will pay money. Yeah. Yeah, I see somebody ask me about, should we be worried about the yen carry trade unwinding because of the $110 billion stimulus? There is a dynamic to that, yes, and it's a relevant dynamic too. Like, you got to understand, Japan doesn't have a lot of cash sitting around, and so they're going to be selling new bonds in this stimulus, right? And remember, yields and bond prices and yields inverse each other. So if they start selling a lot of bonds, what happens? Bond prices drop, right? Supply and demand. And because of that, what happens to interest rates? Interest rates are going to go up. The yen carry dynamic is basically like, generally the Bank of Japan has a low interest rate. And so people can take the low interest rate environment of the Japanese yen and use that to buy up a bunch of US bonds with it, kind of getting cheap leverage, free money. Not free money, but cheap money. Cheap gains, the easiest way to put it. Why? Because there's virtually no interest. Historically, there's been very low interest recently, and with the Bank of Japan, Japanese yen, and so that attracts investors. People use that Japanese yen to buy up a bunch of bonds because they're going to earn money from bonds, and they're getting essentially a very low interest rate on these loans, right? So, it's a good arbitrage, essentially, is what it is. Now, with this $110 billion stimulus package, the government has to sell new bonds and issue debt, and that's going to tank the prices of bonds, spike the interest rates, and that is why people are worried about the yen carry dynamic hurting U.S. stocks, because they're hurting bonds is what it's going to do. But we'll see. All right, Nasdaq just broke under 24/7s here. Looking at the 200 exponential right here at 685 or so. Again, oil's down, gold is down. Nvidia earnings today are massive. Nvidia's starting to dip down a little bit to 184s. Nvidia might go red, but its earnings might cause other AI-related stocks to go up. Maybe. I think a lot of them follow the direction of Nvidia, not necessarily. I think if Nvidia drops, it's going to tank other stocks unless they're competitors, probably. City data coming out today. We got building permanent housing start data at 8:30. I'll cover it, but building permanent housing start data at 8:30. The big data releases at 8:30 or tomorrow. Tomorrow we have payrolls. Again, it's a big day for stuff, man. We'll see what Nvidia earnings do. Everybody's going to be watching for Nvidia earnings. It says the president's supposed to decide on the next Fed chairman before the holidays, before Christmas. Again, Yardini still targets the S&P at 7,000, but he said bearish risks rise. Yardini Research still expects the S&P to hit 7K this year, though it has raised the odds of a bear scenario to 30% as AI bubble fears, weak sentiment, and credit worries grow. Firm cut its melt up odds to 15%, even with the S&P and Nasdaq slipping down below their 50-day moving average. He says extreme fear readings often precede rebounds and knows positive signs like record retail revenues and strong red book sales. I don't know. I'm seeing like some retail stocks not do well. We also had Bank of America say they are reiterating a buy rating for Nvidia. Says Nvidia remains undervalued given its dominance. Expects strong long-term growth from Blackwell and Rubin chips. Price target 270. UBS expects slightly above consensus at 56 billion and margins stay high. All right, so U.S. Energy Secretary Wright says main of the admin is to stop subsidies for expensive and unreliable energy. Nasdaq falling down a little bit this over the last minute or two. Again, we're right at that 200 exponential. I kind of want to buy this. Did I buy this? I'll try to buy it. Actually, no. I'm going to wait until we pop back over this level first. I don't want us to keep dropping under the 200 EMA, so I'm going to wait. All right, we'll buy it right here. We add a little bit if we go green, and if not, it'll keep. I was the last 2 days trading. Yesterday I was green net, but slightly green. I was red on 2 accounts and green on the other 2. I'm gonna add to this and then cut it if it drops quickly. I'm gonna let it test the 200 EMA. Hey, bud. How you doing, man? Buddy. Good day, dude. All right, so we're in this position here. See if we keep pushing up. There we go. I'm gonna cut half of this up there. The rest off up here if I can get filled. Anyway, we're not gonna be red on this. I think we are at least. All right, so we got out flat, completely flat right there. We just broke down quickly here. I wanted to see if we bounce up a little bit more, but that's a big drop, so we're completely flat. We gave ourselves a chance. Look at this drop showing up. We got out just in time too. Wonder what's going on. Adobe is going to buy SEMrush for 1.9 billion. Yeah, I don't really see any reason for this drop. Let me see if there's other pressure. It might not be the biggest drop, actually. We do have mostly green in tech, though. AMD's green. Apple's red. Microsoft's red. Google's green. Nvidia's obviously green. Amazon, green. So we have turned a little bit down in markets right now. Yeah, it could just be the 8 a.m. slump. Starting to turn back down here. Again, the previous closing price, I believe, is 631 on the Nasdaq. So the previous closing price is right around here. I'll draw it. This green line, I'll turn it red because that's where it goes red. Is the red to green level 631, I believe. Let me make sure that's right. I'm pretty sure it's 631 for the Nasdaq. Yeah, 531. Okay, so we got a little bit more ways. 531. That's the red. We're still pretty green, though. Yeah, Amazon's been getting pushed down, really. Amazon, its highs were, what, 259? Yeah, 259 is the highs of Amazon. It's now at 223. So Amazon's just gotten battered on a percentage basis over the last week or two. Again, 259 down to 223. Amazon is down 14% from highs. Really, and this drop has happened since the 3rd of November, so that's roughly 2 weeks ago. So in 2 weeks, Amazon's down 14%. The time to buy the dip. I don't know. What do you think of Rocket Labs? I mean, they're going down with all the other tech stocks. Rocket Labs is down 74, down to 42, so they're big percentage down. Yeah, so they're down like 40-something% right now for Rocket Labs. Very big drop. Is it time to buy the dip in some of these tech stocks, guys? Let me know. I don't know. I think it's still risky. Still a little scary. I'd prefer some bullish confirmation first before. When drops like this, where it's a little scary, I'd prefer bullish confirmation. Yeah, hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. I was on edge yesterday when the market took a big dive a couple hours in. Yeah, I mean, I think the whole market's been on edge the last 3-4 market days. It's scary. Whole market's been fearful. Elon buying Ripple next 3 days. Buy the rebound. I think we did first. Yeah, I need some bullish confirmation first, to be honest. I don't know if I'm gonna get it either, but I hope we do. Ugh. Okay, so this confirms. I used to think I was hurting my back in jiu-jitsu. I now realize I'm not. That I'm in fact hurting my back because my wife has the bed angled every night. Why is the market fearful? Overvaluations in AI companies. All right, guys, we got building permits and housing start data, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time today. Yeah, nothing here is financial advice. I mean, you can see the top of the screen. Again, understand all this stuff. I can't guarantee anything. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Make your own assessment. Trade smart. Nothing here is given. I have no idea what I'm talking about half the time. Some of you guys would agree. With that said, though, Nvidia is actually pushing up over the last 5 minutes. So gold's breaking down a little bit. Bitcoin's still consolidating here, but it did hold that 91.5 level. I get why the market is fearful of the AI trade being overinflated, but what about crypto? Crypto is bigger percentages in terms of the up and down. So if you want to capitalize from Bitcoin's big increases, you know, you got to be ready for big drops as well. I think this is obvious. Look at Bitcoin and the gains that it's made and the move that it's made. Nasdaq's still falling down here. Yeah, I mean, 4-year cycle, what a lot of people are saying, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. I'm not sure what it's going to do, though, but 4-year cycle timeline makes sense. Not financial advice, but great way to capitalize off this dump, guys. Not every day we kind of get crash vibes. No, I agree. I mean, I'm not telling anybody to buy it. I have no idea what's going to happen. I think long term, you're probably going to be fine, but I think short term it's scary. And I think even if you look at the moves that the market's done over the last 20 minutes today, you know, again, sometimes ahead of earnings, we get like big moves down and then the earnings save us and we rip back up, right? Or sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes we get big moves up and then the earnings come out and boom, we crash down. Lately, I think we've been slightly dropping from earnings, but it hasn't been big moves either way. Last Nvidia earnings was actually pretty small range relative to Nvidia earnings. So, we'll see. Yeah, we got building permit and housing start data at 8:30. Yeah, we'll see if Nvidia helps. Again, looking at our poll, 54% are bullish today, 46% are bearish. Again, Nasdaq's given some of it back though. Previous closing price on the Nasdaq's right here. So we still got a ways. In order for the Nasdaq to go red, it would have to drop all the way down here. You know, under this red line right here. So we still got a ways to go, while the Nasdaq's still technically green. We buy dips, long gold, cloudy with a chance of short squeezes. There's a repeat 4-year cycle. We would price now. So who knows? Yeah, I mean, there's obviously always risk. Yeah, I made. It's a Germany minister spokesperson. Next period, based on our information, talk between Dutch and Chinese still ongoing. Again, Adobe buying SEMrush in a $1.9 billion deal came out today. Again, the president's supposed to decide on the next Fed chairman before the holidays. And again, remember, Jerome Powell's going to be stepping down. I think it's May of next year. May of next year. It's also earnings day, and we got the Fed minutes report today, so I think there's a lot of things that could swing the market either way. Going down till April 1. Yeah. Maybe. Bitcoin's holding over 91.5 though, so I'm optimistic. It's still down a little bit. Like, it dropped some. It was at, I looked at it yesterday afternoon. It was at like 90. Went right down to 90 early this morning. Bounced exactly off of 90. Back up to 91.5 here. And it's holding some of the gains it did at 90. Again, the real question, if you want to see volatility in crypto, I think you have to watch Bitcoin in this context. I think when volatility picks up, whether it holds over 90, you know, we could see a drop like this under 90 since we tested it here. See a big drop underneath it. I think it's going to be a little scary. But somebody said the lows were around 88. So. Yeah, we got down to 89.1 thousand basically. So obviously that's a big step. Here definitely looks like a downward trend Bitcoin, but I hope it holds. Meta CapEx a one-time tax hit in the cycle of companies dropping. Yeah, it was a one-time hit. I would assume Meta rebounds. That's why I bought Meta a couple different times, but it hasn't been going as well. No, I mean, Pedro, I disagree, brother. I think, you know, I think with crypto, it makes big moves. You know, if you look at the history of Bitcoin, right? If I put like a weekly chart up here, dude, Bitcoin went from 70K basically down to under 20, down to 15, 16,000. And then it ripped all the way back up to 90 or 75, and then it went all the way up to 90, and now it's pulling back here. So I think even if you look at this trend right here, right, on a weekly perspective, I think you could probably draw a pretty nice trend line here. You know, it's not perfect, but I think obviously it's a stair-step pattern. It's up, down, up, down, up, down. All right, what would be the next step is up. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to do that, But when in doubt, zoom out, they say. We'll see if that's right with Bitcoin. All right, look at this big pop. We are popping back up pretty quickly here. I see Palo Alto Networks, PANW, and IBM plan to launch a joint solution to accelerate enterprise-wide quantum safe readiness. PANW's not up that much. IBM maybe? Up a little bit. Yeah, I gotta just ban James. He's just a spammer. He might be a bot. Pumping up terrible. Again, guys, listen. I'm gonna put it this way. If you're investing into something that requires people to go from chat room to chat room, spamming pump and dump type content regarding that asset, you got tricked into buying a terrible asset, right? You know who doesn't need to behave that way? Apple, Amazon, Google, you know, freaking Walmart. You know why? It's because they're actually healthy companies. You don't need to talk a bunch of people into buying them. People just buy them. And so if whatever depreciating asset you're in is causing people to get so nervous that they're going from chat room to chat room trying to pump those things up, it's probably not a good buy, realistically. You know? Crypto is down because there's no retail liquidity, QT, high rates, weak ISM data, and job softness. Without money to invest, with no retail inflows, so traders like it's in a bear. Yeah, I mean, crypto, the reason Bitcoin is, another reason Bitcoin is down, one of the things I do agree with is not necessarily QT. QT is ending December 1st, right? QT is a hawkish monetary policy, so it ending is a dovish thing, a lower interest rate pushing thing. As well as like Bitcoin overall wants easing. And we've had a lot of people pivot over the last couple weeks from a dovish sentiment in December to a hawkish sentiment. Not really hawkish, I would say more neutral, of a pause. But it's definitely less dovish than a rate cut, obviously. And so I think that dynamic of it looking less likely that we're going to cut rates again in December is causing people to fear. And Bitcoin has been reacting favorably to like easing news. Like people for crypto and altcoins, they want easing. They want low interest rates. They want quantitative easing. They want stimulus. And so Bitcoin probably is reacting to that a little bit. Yeah, PA and W reporting. Yep. Nvidia earnings. And again, if you look at Nvidia's EPS graph, we'll take a look at this a little bit later. This is margins. EPS is earnings per share. It's margins. All right, if we take a look at this. Still a pretty nice trend. They're expecting quarterly numbers today to be right around 118. So they are expecting a bump up from this. They are expecting like this one to show. We're up here. Yeah. That's a good trend. Now, is it a good trend? Good enough trend? I don't know. That's a pretty good trend if the next EPS does come in just as expected at 118, let alone better than that. So pretty good graph. Growth is still okay for Nvidia. Oh, you guys can't see the Bitcoin price. My bad. Mostly technicals on Bitcoin, and we're out of time on bull market more than 1,000 days. Maybe. I just want to say you do a good job. Thank you, Clayton. Dumping soon, red to start. I mean, we're already kind of dumping now. Bitcoin's pushing up, though. Bitcoin's almost back up to 91.8s. All right, guys, again, we do have housing starts and building permits that we're going to cover at 8:30. Not the biggest report, but with housing fears and stuff like that going on economics-wise, maybe it'll move things. We'll cover it. We did have European CPI show up, all flat, 2.1%, expected 2.1%, 2.4% for core CPI in Europe. Again, we had NBA mortgage rates show up and down. Mortgage applications down 5.2%. Last time they were up 0.6%. Building permits expected at 1.34 million. Housing starts expected at 1.32 million. These are both upticks relative to what they were last time. This is for September data, though. Remember, we haven't had government data. But they are expecting to uptick slightly for housing starts and building permits here. I think we also have import-export trade balance data as well that we'll cover. Yeah, quantum stocks, I mean, they're slightly green on the day, but they've had a tough time too, man. Rigetti dropping from 45s, really about 60, 58, all the way down to 25s. All right, guys, gold at 4,100 bounce here. Look at gold. Nasdaq still tumbling down a little bit more. Watching the 650 level, see if it bounces here. Bitcoin tumbling down as well. Look at Bitcoin down at 91.5K. China Commerce Ministry says both sides agreed to cancel administrative intervention. They said we hope the Dutch side continues to show willingness to cooperate and welcomes Netherlands to intervention at next period. Bitcoin keeps bouncing at 91.5, but look at this drop here, 24,650s. I think Bitcoin needs to get back above 96K to be out the woods, or we can get back under 80K, just my view. I like to look at more psychological levels. I like to look at 100, 90, you know? Nvidia has to save the market today. Nvidia could save the market, or it could go the other way. There's not zero risk to the downside, obviously. And so, I mean, Nvidia could save the market, or it could cause problems. It could exacerbate the problems we already have, I guess is a better way to say it. 75, yeah. I like looking at 75 too. I think that makes sense. You think the president announces a dovish Fed share, the markets will price that in? I think he's gonna announce somebody that's on his side that wants to stimulate the economy. Yes, I think he's been very dovish, and again, every president's gonna want dovishness mostly, unless inflation is rampant. And you know, inflation at 3% is not good, but it's not rampant either. Rampant would be like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9% plus. Yeah, look at that. We did bounce at 650. And so yes, I think he's gonna put in somebody that's gonna mirror his sentiments regarding rates. It's not going to be until May, though, of next year, and so there's a lag. So whether markets are going to abruptly react to it in any type of significant way, I don't necessarily think so. I think everybody already knows what I just said. Everybody that pays attention to Fed decisions knows what I just said, which is that the president's going to put in a dovish chairman. You know, a chairman that's going to skip to his beat, so to speak. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it might already be baked in. You know? Depending on who it is, you know, will give us a little bit more detail, but yeah. You worried that big investors are dumping Bitcoin and Nvidia on retail due to the inflated prices? I mean, I think the market's worried about that. I think we're seeing that. I think I think before these big drops, we've seen a lot of fear regarding inflated AI and tech prices, inflated AI and tech sentiment, IPE ratios, and all that stuff. I think we've seen that over the last 3 weeks for sure, especially the last like 4 or 5 market days, meaning yesterday, the day before that, and Friday last week. I think we've seen some big drops last week and this week. And so, you know, and now we're heading into a lot of different stuff now. Now we're getting some of the delayed data. Again, tomorrow we get the jobs report. Today we have Fed minutes. We also have the big boy, which is Nvidia earnings. That's the biggest thing we have today for sure. Biggest thing this week, probably even bigger than payrolls tomorrow, is Nvidia earnings today. And again, they have the capability to massively cause a big rebound in tech and markets, or again, cause problems. Powell can still continue beyond that date, though. His term ends in May next year. And so he's going to continue until May of next year, and then he's stepping down. I think he might stay on the board. Or he might stay on as one of the members, but he's not going to be the chairman after next May. What's your prediction, rate cut or no? I think we're still going to cut rates, but I think I agree it's about 50-50 shot. I think it depends on what kind of data we get. And so I think if we get, obviously, if we get weak labor data and low inflation, we're going to cut rates in December. Or if we get strong labor, which would be kind of weird, but if we can get strong labor, which I don't necessarily think we're going to get. But remember, tomorrow is just for September. So September was before the government shutdown. So we could get strong data. But if we get strong data and high inflation, you know, it's going to obviously push back those odds. So I think we're really data dependent now in terms of what we do in December. I still think we probably cut. I think the odds tilt slightly in my mind to a rate cut in December. You know, I think we're kind of mirroring what we did last year. Last year we cut rate 3 times: September, October, and December. Or no. Last year we did. Yeah, last year we did September, November, and December. This year we did September, October, and December. Probably. But I think we're going to mirror what we did last year. But again, it's going to be dependent on the data. The data we get in terms of the labor market and inflation is going to those odds up or down. You think Powell will be neutral or hawkish today? Powell's not speaking today. This is just a recap of the last Fed meeting, and Powell was pretty hawkish or data dependent, neutral or hawkish in the last Fed meeting. So I think we're going to see. I think that's what we're going to see in the report today. But who knows? I'll cover it. I'll be streaming it live, obviously. All right, guys, we got a minute. Let's see what we get today. Housing starts, building permits, import-export, trade balance data is supposed to release today. And we'll see what we get. I don't know if import-export prices are coming out, though, but I think we do have housing starts and building permits. Again, they're both expected to jump up slightly. Previous was 1.33 for building permit prelim for September. I think 1.34 is what's expected today. Housing starts for 1.307. 1.32 million is the consensus today. So, all right, here we go, guys. We got 40 seconds. 40 seconds. All right, guys, we got 20 seconds left. 20 seconds. Let's see if this does anything to the market. I'm not sure if it will, but let's see. Again, here's building permits and housing starts. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of data come out before then. All right, here's the reports, guys. Building permits, housing starts. And here it is. Okay, so trade balance data showed up at negative 59.6. Negative 59.6 billion, a little bit more negative than expected, which a little bit less negative than expected at negative 59.6 versus negative 61.3. I don't see building permits or housing starts data. Maybe they're delayed. I'm not sure. This is why I didn't title the stream this. But I did see the trade balance data for August show up at negative 59.6 billion. It essentially means that we are exporting a little bit more than expected. With a less negative number, it means we're exporting. You know, we're importing way more than we're exporting. That's why it's negative 60, or that's why it's negative 72 billion, 78 billion last time. This time it's negative 59 billion. So it means we're exporting a little bit more now. Again, I don't see any other data out. Ugh. Ugh. Sorry, guys, gotta blow my nose. I don't know if there's dust in here in my office or what. Ugh. Yeah, Nvidia earnings are technically scheduled for 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when they're scheduled. So, but again, we got the import-export data, the trade balance data at negative 59.6. Negative 59.6. Housing starts did not come out. Building permits either. Let me check another source just to make sure. Yeah, so maybe housing starts and building permits are still delayed. Who knows when we'll get them. Yeah, 4 p. It's after 4 p.m. It's technically scheduled for 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look at the Nasdaq push back up here. Bitcoin bouncing back up. Gold's pushing back up. Again, here's the trade balance data. I'll put it up in chat. That's gross, bro. I gotta blow my nose, dude. I'm sorry. I sneezed, man. I'm sorry. How dare I sneeze on stream? What the heck was I thinking today, guys? I'm sorry. Sorry. No. All right, guys, we're rejecting at 24/7s. But we did get a push up here. Internet's funny, you know. I even turned the video off so you guys wouldn't have to see it. I'm still getting complaints here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done it. I'll hold it in next time. All right, guys, we're at 683s here. 683s. Let's see if we bounce at the 200 EMA. I kind of want to buy this. I'm going to try to buy it. You know what? Let me find my... I wanted to buy it right here. I missed that interest. All right, I'm going to add to this. All right, we're in 3 micros. We'll give it a chance. Curious to see what the opening bell brings us today, though. No, it's not looking good, but I'll see if we retrace back up there real quick. There we go. That's better. I gotta start slowing down the position here. I should have held, but that's all right. It looks strong, to be honest, right here. That's a quick rebound. MP Materials announced that it's partnered with the U.S. Department of War to establish a strategic JV with the Saudi Arabia mining company to develop a rare earth refinery in the kingdom. Kind of unsure right here. I'll probably cut this. Good thing I cut most of it early, but small loss. I like the bounce. Maybe we bounce at 665. Weeble earnings. Good X here. Be normal sneeze. Yeah. Listen, I'm the top 3 sneezers in the world right now. All right, guys. I don't know what to do in this market. We're kind of sideways. Every time it looks like we're going to go one direction, we kind of go the other. Also, guys, it's earnings day for Nvidia, which could mean we get big range but choppiness. I think big range and choppiness is pretty standard when all this stuff goes on. The U.S.-China August trade deficit came in at 16.68 billion versus July at 17.11 billion, so a little bit less of a deficit there. Again, Nvidia's up still 35% this year. Nvidia's forward PE has fallen from 31x to 29.5x, getting cheaper as it goes up. Our option markets, again, implying a move of 7.5% today for Nvidia, 7.5%. I gotta just attack my levels here. Look at this level. Bitcoin under 91.5 with a big drop, though. Under 91.5. Look at Bitcoin fall. What do you think Warren Buffett is doing right now? I think he's probably sleeping, considering he's in his 90s. You know? He's either telling stories or he's sleeping right now. 7:30 in the morning, my guess is he's probably sleeping. Then some deficit numbers came out. Yeah, they came out earlier. We already posted them. They came out at negative 84.34 billion. Wait, is that right? Hold on. I thought I saw something different. I showed negative 59.6 billion for August. At 10:30 today, we also have the Atlanta Fed GDP now. They're expecting 4% for quarter 4. We're still looking weak here. Again, it's kind of hard to trade. Is there any economic data coming today? Well, we already had the good trades balance. Again, I showed the trade balance show up at negative 59.6 versus 61.3 expected billion. That is, so a little bit more exports than expected. A little bit, much more exports than last time. That last time came in at 78.2. This is for August, though. Again, government's been shut down, so delayed data we're getting. I play guitar, so like I'm trying to learn. I've always wanted to learn a ukulele, but I just never have invested the time. We're still bouncing right here. Again, it's kind of a choppy market. Bitcoin under 91.5 though. No saxophone? Yeah, you're right. Again, my stocks are green this morning somehow, which is kind of a pleasant surprise versus what the last 4 or 5 market days have been. People his age go to sleep at 7 and wake up at 4 a.m. Bitcoin's still falling here. I'm trying to see if we have any breaking news to cover. Not really. UK news. We had, again, the US-China August trade deficit show up at 16.86 billion. Again, all eyes are on Nvidia today, for sure. Also, guys, check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. Again, most day traders lose money. And this is Top Step X right here on the left. This is Top Step X. Most day traders lose. So if you fund your own account thousands of dollars, realistically, if you're a new day trader, let's be honest, you're probably going to lose that. It makes no sense to do it. Instead, try this. It limits your risk. Again, most day traders are still going to lose regardless of where they go. $50 a month for the base one. It's kind of like a souped up demo account. If you pass it, you get funded 50K, 90% split, which is similar to funding your own account. If you fail it, you lose $50. It's the best of both worlds. They pay out millions, super reliable with payouts. You can reset funded accounts with the same rules now and more. Just a lot of really, really useful stuff. Zero commission on Top Step X. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased because I get paid by them. Some would say I'm the top 3 most biased ever, but genuinely useful in my opinion. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link up. Here's the link right here. Check it out. Great way to help support the free content we put out regularly. So you get Nvidia green on the day. Most tech stocks are green. Meta's technically green. Apple's technically, or no, Apple's actually red. So Meta's green, Apple's red. Meta's basically flat though. Google is green. Microchips are green, so AMD and Nvidia are green. Amazon is slightly green. Netflix, slightly red. But we've got some optimism this morning. We'll see if it holds into Nvidia earnings. Market's kind of choppy right now. I lost money my first 2 years back in 2005. Yeah, I lost thousands of dollars trying to day trade in the beginning. Again, I think almost everybody does. Like, I lost thousands of dollars. I don't even claim to be a good day trader now, but at the time, I've said this 1,000 times on stream, but I thought I was going to be day trading. And again, I think that's still how people sell things to traders. You're going to be rich, you know, you're probably just going to lose. But, you know, if I had to go back and do it again, I would. I have 2 kitchens, bro. Okay, this is my second kitchen right here that I'm in right now. You know, that would be kind of nice. I could cook breakfast while I was streaming. Give recipes out. The cook of Wall Street, they would say. All right, guys. NASDAQ flushing down under this level. We held there for a little while, though. Let's watch 650s here. Again, I don't trust this range at all. We're sideways, kind of down, up, down. Very sideways range, the NASDAQ. We're not really doing much here. Again, earnings day, people are more apprehensive with big catalysts. Really, it's just any big catalyst. Could be earnings for Nvidia or something. Could be FOMC meetings. Could be CPI inflation. Could be payrolls. A lot of the time ahead of those reports, we get choppiness. Maybe it's easier to attack ranges on those days. Again, we did a poll. Well, today closed red or green with Nvidia earnings, Fed minutes reports, and more. 54% think we're going to be green today. 46% think we're going to be red today. Vote on that poll. Let me know how you feel. The chef that cooked Wall Street. Again, I don't know the modern slang here. I'm not hip right now, guys. So I don't know what's cool. I don't know, like, you're cooked is bad, right? So if I'm cooking Wall Street, is that good or bad, right? And then he's cooking is good, apparently. So if I'm cooking Wall Street, that would be good. Is that correct? Young people in chat, is that right? Let me know. Let me know if that's correct. I'm just gonna assume it is. The cooker is good. Being cooked is negative. Yeah. Again, the person doing the cooking is good. If you're the one getting cooked, that's bad, right? Okay. I feel like this guy right now. I feel like this guy here. Okay. All right, NASDAQ pushing back up a little bit more here. Nvidia almost back up to 185s. Gold testing the highs of the day at 117's high of the day is 121 for gold. Oil getting dumped down this morning. Although it did have a little recovery of a bounce, but not much. All right, we're starting to head up. We're at 678, 680s. Again, we're sideways right now. We almost have a little trend on the upside here. You know, it's kind of a stretch to call it a trend, but it's something. We got higher lows here. That's good. Nvidia's still pushing up testing. Where's the highs of the day? Yeah, Nvidia testing highs of the day right now. Yeah, these are highs of the day. Right around 185s. 184.85 is the high of the day for Nvidia. We're at that level now, testing the highs. Gold is cooking. Gold is cooking. Yeah, it's a Range Rover, Mike, but that's okay. You were close. You were close. VIX is staying flat, still high, but flat. Yeah, I mean, the VIX is probably flat today. Up a lot. Hit 2580s. 2380s for the VIX. They're prepping these shorts to sell longs. Nvidia, ETH down. Yeah, it's Wednesday. We have payrolls tomorrow. IBIT. I vaguely remember that. What is this? Oh, it's the Bitcoin ETF. Oh, yeah, yeah. This was one of the first Bitcoin ETFs to get approved, right? I remember IBIT. Who is this? This is, who is the creator of this ETF? It's, yeah. I vaguely remember it. All right, UK offers 1% of Brussels euro, 6.7 demand to join Euro Defense Fund. I can't keep up with slang or trends. Like, I went to Lululemon with my wife yesterday. And bro, I just can't, like, I don't know. I just can't fit in with the style. I know I'm old, you know. I'm not cool anymore. I've accepted that. But bro, I go into Lululemon and they've got like super baggy corduroy pants. Is that how you say it? Is it corduroy? Corduroy pants. Like super, super baggy corduroy pants. Like, dude, I'm not wearing that. Why would anybody wear that? It looks ridiculous. It looks like everybody's about to go camping, but the colors are like violet and purple. You know what I mean? I just can't do it. I can't do it. Where's Lululemon stock nowadays? It's back up to 160. Still down from 500 plus, though. They really are. I can't. Like, my wife's like, ooh, come in here. Maybe you'll want to buy something. And I'm trying to find something that I'd wear, but I can't really. You know, it all looks crazy to me. Like, I don't want to stick out that much. I'm not going to wear a bright purple, you know, shirt in November. You know? Not unless I go to an LSU game or something. Nvidia earnings are after the closing bell. They're at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 55 is still young. Yeah, I'm 56. So, I mean, you know. I'm just joking, guys. It does look like the grunge 90s. I grew up through the grunge 90s. That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah, Bitcoin's under 91.5s. We keep bouncing here at the 65 level. Again, I think markets are just confused right now. They don't know what to do. They're apprehensive to take big positions. We're going sideways because of that. Maybe you can short the top, buy the bottom. My luck is that if I try to do that, we're going to break highs all of a sudden or something. So, again, gold coming back down a little bit now. Went pretty close to highs. Nvidia tested the highs of the day. It didn't actually break it, though. The highs of the day right around 184.85 for Nvidia. It got close to it, tapped it, but didn't actually break the level. You're mad about the word testing a certain level? Yeah, but it doesn't. Yes, they're sellers or buyers interested in that level, but we're not talking about literal. We're talking about the price trying to get over a specific point. And so it's essentially another way for saying trying, you know? So if we're going up and we're trying to break a specific levels, buyers are trying to take control at that level, you know? Sellers are trying to push it back down. You just call it testing, because they're trying to do things. Walmart haircut story, please. All right, guys, we're essentially sideways though. I mean, the Walmart haircut story. Is a funny story, but I'm not gonna go into it today. Again, remember, we got the FOMC minutes report following today's stream, and then we have Nvidia earnings following that. So I'm going to be streaming basically all day today, guys. I'm pretty sure I did have a Bulls starter jacket. I had a bunch of Champion stuff before it was cool and it was just cheap, but I had it. I had like one of those really puffy Champions jackets. I had some Airwalks on, you know. Yeah. What's the best stock to buy today? Let me know in chat right now. What's the best stock to buy? I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if I necessarily want to buy anything. You got some stuff that's down from earnings. Target missed revenue, BDPS, but missed revenue. It's down a little bit. Meta's still down a whole lot. MicroStrategy, well, yeah. Nvidia, what's up, Femi? PayPal. PayPal is green. Pfizer, I'm in SoFi already. I'm just gonna sit in it. Fly Digital, yeah, I see it. It's up a little bit today. Had a good day yesterday, it looks like. Gold? Yeah, I mean, gold. When do you guys think gold will break 5,000? Gold's had a good trend Monday and Tuesday this week so far. Yeah, I think I'm in Disney already as well. Yeah, I'm in Disney. Wix president had some interesting things to say earlier. Yeah, but the problem with Wix is that like Wix is kind of like WordPress, right? WordPress.com. Not the one where it's just hosting and stuff. It's the one where it lets you kind of drag and drop, create the website in a drag and drop format. Wix is essentially the same thing. But AI might essentially replace a lot of this stuff. You know, that's my problem with Wix.com. What has Wix done since the AI boom started? Yeah, I mean, Wix is down since 2021 a big amount. And that makes sense because with AI, you don't need Wix as much. Unfortunately, for them. Didn't IBM have some news this morning with some other company? IBM's been trending really well this year, though. They're up a lot. Down yesterday, though. Nasdaq's just undecided here, guys. We got 30 minutes into the opening bell, and we're just undecided. Gold will break 5K when Powell leaves. That's 50. Pfizer because you won't lose your butt no matter which way the market goes. Gold 5,000 by June. Sell it all while you can. Look at the monthly Bitcoin chart, convert it and tell me what you see. Robinhood, AMD. UBT. Yeah, we'll see. All right, Nasdaq coming down under that 665 level. Watch 650 here. Again, we're still chopping sideways this morning, guys. There's not a lot to do. We got a bunch of big stuff coming out today, so the market's a little quiet ahead of this. UROI is just a uranium stock. It's cheap though, but the trend doesn't look terrible. But I think there's a lot of stuff that could happen either way on either side of this. So yeah, I mean markets are certainly down. I mean again, the S&P, which is the SPY, is down what, like 4%. Nasdaq's down like 6%. I think the Nasdaq is down 6%. The Dow is down like 4.5%. Yeah, Dow is down from, not the Dow, this is the Russell. Dow is down from 48.20s down to, what is this today? 48.28, 48.5. Although you're down to 46. Dow is down about 5%, 4.5%. So everything's down from the highs, especially, this is mostly all since started. Yeah, I mean, this mostly started, a lot of the stuff started in the beginning of October. The corrections we've seen since October started are pretty substantial across the board in indexes and equities. I don't think people dislike Powell. People have always, like, you got certain people that hate Powell. Honestly, I think Powell's got a tough job. I don't really like him or dislike him. I just kind of cover what he says. Buy a little of this and a little of that. Yeah, I think we might be sideways until Nvidia. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on today. Dell and Nvidia startup Firebird gets U.S. approval for American data center project facility to use Blackwell chips. Dell servers. Yeah, the president is supposed to speak today somewhere. At 12 o'clock, he delivers remarks at the Fomc John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. We're gonna get some stuff announced at midday today. Complexity deal offers AI to government agencies at a discount, according to Fox Bid. I actually did like Perplexity AI, and it was pretty accurate in terms of like pulling data. Like, hey, what are we up today? What are we down today? What's green? What's red? Summarize what's going on in markets. Perplexity was pretty accurate. And Nasdaq still trending down, rejecting at the 665 level that held support for so long. Bitcoin trying to get back up there to 91.5s here, but it's now 9 a.m. All right, guys, we got 30 minutes here, 30 minutes. Yeah, I don't think we get any data at 10 a.m. today. We got the Fed minutes report at 2. Nvidia earnings. Again, we get an unemployment report. And non-farm payrolls tomorrow. Jobless claims tomorrow. They're expected at 225,000. Philly Fed index tomorrow. Existing home sales tomorrow. Then Friday we get consumer sentiment, manufacturing, PMI, other stuff. Next week we got PPI data Tuesday, Case-Shiller for confidence. Wednesday we get jobless claims, GDP, PCE, inflation. Thursday we're closed. Yep, to start the day, maybe, yeah. Yeah, I'm trading pretty light here. Again, the range is so tight. We had this big push up. I thought we were gonna do something. I thought Nvidia might be breaking highs, and it's close still. But I got this big surge and then this big dip back down, and then we kind of faded back down with lower highs here. So again, we're pretty sideways right now. I mean, I would say over the last 20-30 minutes, it looks a little bit more bearish, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. That'd be green market yesterday. I think the market was red yesterday. Slightly red. Slightly red. Which Bitcoin futures? I think Bitcoin futures you can only... Depends on which Bitcoin futures. I don't know. I would look it up. I can't remember how many points Bitcoin futures do. Not sure. Alright guys, so we're still kind of trending down here. Now we start to crack underneath 24,640. That's not good. The previous closing price is right here at 24,530. So it looks like we're going to be green into the opening bell unless we really turn deep down here. But see. I've been pretty hesitant to trade big size. AMD's MI400 series GPUs aim to significantly close Nvidia AI chips lead. Some Nvidia executives are caught off guard by AMD's claimed performance gains for the chip, according to the information. Also, Block announces a $5 billion increase to its share buyback program. I haven't looked at Block in a minute here. Hold on. Yeah, they're not doing that good. Cash App, what Block owns. Okay, so the U.S. September retail sales report is now scheduled for Tuesday. So Tuesday, we're getting a lot of stuff next week. We're getting PPI inflation, September retail sales, the ADP employment report that we got yesterday. We're getting another one, obviously, every Tuesday. But September sales report scheduled for November 25th. So we're getting a lot of stuff coming out next week, to be honest. This week's busy, next week's very busy. Yeah, where's AMD? Hard to tell whether, you know, there's so much rumor floating around with stuff like this. It's hard to tell, but yeah, Google's up significantly on the day. Alphabet up to 288.70s here. U.S. exporters sell 330,000 tons of soybeans to China. You had an extra 100,000. How would you invest it? I'd probably just diversify it into a bunch of different stuff. Like I'd buy equities. I'd handpick some equities. I'd probably buy some, not an investment professional, not liable if you lose, not investment advice. But I'd probably buy some equities. I'd definitely put a large chunk of it in indices, you know, S&P, NASDAQ probably. And just sit on it long term, and then I would probably buy some bonds with it as well, just to diversify and hedge a little bit off of those equities and indices. And then I'd probably stick some of it in crypto, maybe buy some real estate investment trusts to diversify as well. You know, buy some gold for sure, you know, precious metals. Anyways, we're starting to break down. We're at 24,650s. All right, so look at this breakdown here. Here's 650 right here. Give 650 hold. Testing it now. Bitcoin back down to almost 91,000 here. Remember, we bounced off at 90,000 earlier. The Nasdaq just flushed back underneath this. We only have 23 minutes until the opening bell, but here goes the Nasdaq dropping here, testing this recent low. It's not the low of the day. The low of the day is way down here, but it's the low of the last 4 or 5 hours, right around 24,640s. We're under 650 now as well. Target exec says company expects no changes to dividend issuing strategy. Bitcoin dominance is flying. We'll demolish alts. Maybe. Starting to see some weakness now, though. Again, I don't trust any of this direction, though. I'll probably just wait. All right, 54% think we're going to have a green day today, though. Give me a follow at x.com at beginner trades. At beginner trades. You want a green day? I think markets want a green day. I think investors want a green day too, obviously. Are you guys scared that we're going to continue dropping more? All right, there's the crack of that level here, 640. We're underneath it now. We're at 641s, 39s now. Bitcoin dropping still. Bitcoin starting to flush down some. Santander exposure to first brands rises to around 300 million. September durables report scheduled for November 26th. Bro, y'all put it out on different days, bro. Why y'all keep putting it out on Wednesday and Tuesday next week? Literally Wednesday and Tuesday next week, we got PPI inflation, retail sales report Tuesday as well on the 25th. We have the ADP employment weekly report. On the 26th, we have... On the 26th, we have... What do we have on the 20th? We got GDP data, PCE inflation data, durable goods, and more. You know? So, dropping too many things on Tuesday and Wednesday next week ahead of the holiday. I guess they're just trying to get it out, though. But still. The market closed Thanksgiving Day. It has to be, right? Yeah, stock market's closed. Yeah. Market is closed the entire day. Okay. Good. Black Friday is going to have a shortened day as well, so. Any news causing this drop? Not really that I see. I think it's just a moment. I see Meta is going to block Australian. I saw Meta got one of their lawsuits. Or the monopoly lawsuit. They won their lawsuit. Defense. That's good for Meta. Here's Meta. Hey, Meta's red. Bitcoin's starting to pop a little bit here, though. NASDAQ still falling here, guys. Next level I have is 24,600s. We also could bounce at 25s right here. Right around where we are now, 25. But it's not a guarantee. I think 100's more solid of a level. Stock market keeps dropping. Pray for crypto. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of following each other. They kind of have been. It just shows you where money's flowing is what it really, the reason there's that correlation is where money's flowing. But yeah, it's scary. It's scary. And again, like, I'm in crypto. I said this yesterday. I'll say it again. One of the things that I see here in the crypto space specifically, it's kind of like penny stocks. There's so much nonsense putting out there by crypto bros that are just trying to grow a following online that it becomes hard to believe anything that they say. And I understand why some traders had this thesis. They're like, hey, the government's going to resume. Crypto is going to fly up and break highs. Well, that's not actually what we got. Honestly, the day the government resumed, crypto dumped. heavy down. And so, you know, again, one of the things I always say is like, look, anybody that tells you something is 100% going to happen in absolutes is usually really emotional about that thing happening. Now, maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but anybody that does not acknowledge the risks to the other side is usually generally pretty emotional about things. So just be careful, especially if you follow a bunch of crypto bros on X or Twitter, because again, some of them just put out these wild things that, you know, nobody knows whether any of these things are going to happen. It's just kind of speculation. Just be careful. I think a Bitcoin dumps because US wants it cheap. Maybe. Possible. Tom Lee said Bitcoin 200,000 by the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could happen. Bitcoin is known to make big percentage moves. It certainly could rebound all the way back up, but that's a huge gain. You know, like that's a big gain from where we are now. I don't know. It's looking unlikely, but it could happen. I don't know. Could drive more if Nvidia. Yeah, I mean, and again, Nvidia earnings today are again the Super Bowl of earnings. Nvidia's earnings report is the earnings report to watch because, again, sometimes big tech earnings can save the market or sometimes they can pummel the market down. And I think right now, with the context of everything going on the last week, 2 weeks, it becomes that much more important to focus on what Nvidia does today at the closing bell. So. Would you say is your number one lesson learned from trading? Accept losses and be patient. If you don't accept losses, you'll double your size, risk more, and then you'll more, and then it'll kind of snowball into account destroying days. So accept losses is probably the best lesson you can learn from trading. Patience is king, and accept the losses when you have them. Move on. Don't focus on it. Try to win back your losses. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about all the different, like, again, it's kind of like AMC, right? It's kind of like AMC GameStop. People took that, people took AMC and GameStop and they used it to try to grow a following online. And I always told people, like, if you base your whole channel around one stock, it's, you know, it's just not the right move. And so many people were like creating these social media pages for AMC and GameStop in the ape community that you just saw these wild conspiracies. Like, oh, every day there's a new conspiracy about why AMC or GameStop's going up. This is going on and this is going on. A lot of them don't really understand fundamentals either, but they're just kind of parroting what they hear. And so luckily that market has kind of dwindled down a little bit. But then AMC isn't going to the moon. I think movie theaters are in trouble generally. I mean, I think movie theaters are always going to have a certain amount of customer base, but I think the amount of movies that we've seen that have been influential enough to make people go to the movie theaters is obviously down a big percentage. You know, we still get a couple big ones a year, but it's definitely not like it was. You know, and part of that is due to streaming now. Like now, direct to streaming. And so, even if you want to see a big movie, half the time you can watch it streaming now immediately. Yeah, I want to watch One Battle After Another is the next one that I can now rent streaming. I'm probably going to watch that over the next few days. Looks good. Bitcoin's starting to fight back up. I'm looking at 91.5s for Bitcoin. 91.5s. Don't listen to Jim Cramer. Cramer, man, what's he saying? What's old Cramer been saying, huh? Target's starting to rebound back up. Again, Bitcoin's still at 91.3s. We did bounce a little bit at 625s right here if you look at it. But it's not a huge bounce, and now we're starting to kind of retest this level. Now we got 13 minutes until the opening bell, guys. 13 minutes. Yeah, the circular deals with Nvidia is scaring a lot of people. That might be the best bull sign for Nvidia ever if Jim Cramer's talking about bearishness in Nvidia. Not falling victim to FOMO. Yeah, I mean, listen, I get a lot of people pushing penny stocks here. And I'm not mad at you guys. Listen, y'all might be better at it than I am. I'm not about to day trade penny stocks. There's just too much risk. There's too much marketing out there. Like, oh, penny stock millionaires, you know? I think they're just kind of talking people into buying courses is what it looks like to me. And so I just kind of avoid the whole market because penny stocks seem incredibly volatile. And again, I think you got to go back to what does big money do? You know, one thing big money doesn't do? They don't really day trade penny stocks, you know? And so you might be talked into buying it, you know, confirmation bias. People want to believe that you can day trade penny stocks and make millions easily with small accounts because they're penny stocks. But I just don't think it's anywhere close to as easy as they make it seem. I think most of the time the variance is ridiculous. And I'm just not going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to stream FOMC minutes today. I'm going to stream Nvidia earnings as well. So be streaming all day, basically. All right, Nasdaq's still flushing down here. We're at 24,625s. All right, guys, 11 minutes until the market opens, chat. 11 minutes. Let's see what we get today. It's a busy day. Bitcoin rejected at 91.5s. Nasdaq still flushing down a little bit. Gold's still kind of high on the day, though. It's still close to the highs of the day. Nvidia got close to it as well here, but kind of rejected right there at the high at 184.85s. I'm realizing that I'm missing some of the comments just by not keeping it in live chat, so my bad. Yeah, I'm in XRP. I'm in a bunch of stuff, to be honest. In crypto. Christmas pump, Bitcoin 130. I hope so, bro. All right. Go to penny stocks. Yeah, I mean, penny stocks just sketchy. I traded penny stocks. That was the first thing I got involved with, right? I know from experience. Again, penny stock will go up. Everybody's like, oh, you should buy this stock. And then it gets halted at the highs and then opens up like 40% lower. You've lost 40% of what you invested in it. You know, half the time it's the penny stock gurus doing it. So they'll tell you it's so easy, and they'll tell everybody, hey guys, I bought this penny stock. And then they use that liquidity to unload huge front-loading positions that they've made. You know, and then they make 30 grand doing it, and they take a picture of it, and they say, look at all this money I made. Buy my penny stock course. Right? And then they leave everybody else just holding the massive drops that happen when they cover, you know. It's sketchy. Freaking sketchy market. Yeah, penny stocks used to be good when you could follow newsletters and stuff like that were getting sent around, pumping them up and ride those pumps, right? The last 10, 15 years, not like that. I don't want you to invest in anything that I'm in IR. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable. Sir. Am I buying Netflix right now? Where's Netflix after the split? 113s? I don't hate Netflix, to be honest, right here. What's the PE ratio in Netflix? 46? It's still kind of high. I mean, I think they might grow into this. They're getting into live sports and stuff, but it's still kind of high for a PE ratio, I think, for Netflix. A mouse. We bounced at 625s. Now we're really muted ahead of the opening bell in 6 minutes, 7 minutes. Yeah, thank you, Vincent. I don't know. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac going public? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if it'd be good, but maybe. Right here's 650. 25s. Kind of that $25 range. I mean, things look okay. They look kind of bullish. A lot of stuff has like a bullish looking trend here. I'm gambling on Nvidia. Hey, good luck, dude. You ever trade Bitcoin on Top Step? I have before. It's not really my style though. Bitcoin, micro Bitcoin futures, just kind of low liquidity. Not really my favorite way to trade. Penny stocks are fun though. Sell when it peaks and watch the bag holders cry. Yeah, I mean, that's cool until you're trying to sell at the peak and it gets volatility trading halted, or circuit breaker halted at the top and you can't get out, and then it gaps down 30% and you lose 30% of your investment, and then it gets halted again 10 seconds later and it drops another 20%. You know, ask me how I know. Again, we're at 650s on the Nasdaq. I doubt that Nvidia good earnings and Powell would tank the market. Yeah, I mean, we don't have Powell. We got the Fed minutes report, a little bit different. Here's gold at the top. I'll put the SPY chart up. Here's the SPY. It's at 661s. Still green on the day, but less green. Bitcoin falling back down to about 91,000 here. Look at Bitcoin drop. Head of the opening bell in 5 minutes exactly. Probably getting the market on open. That's dragging markets down. The MOO. Nasdaq's coming down on the market on open. U.S. Census Bureau released wholesale trade sales and inventories on November 21st via statement. Again, Nasdaq just tumbled down a little bit more here, testing that 625 level. Watching 600s below us. Again, the previous close is still way down here, so we're still green on the Nasdaq today. Nvidia just retraced really far up there. Bitcoin dropped all the way down to 91.027. Minutes reports at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys, 4 minutes. I've kind of traded a little light today. Yeah, there's just too much choppy sideways action. Earnings, Fed minutes, a bunch of stuff today that's causing some volatility, so I just got to be careful. Market looks like trash. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with that today. Yes, we will be streaming both Fed minutes and Nvidia earnings. Yes. Nasdaq still tumbling down here. We're at 622s, 625s again. Bitcoin's down over the last 10 minutes. Still dropping here. 91 even right now. 91,000 even. We have 3 minutes until the opening bell here, chat. 3 minutes. I mean, we're still pretty green in the Nasdaq here, so even with drops, previous closes way lower than where we're currently at. 531, the previous close on my chart. I'm watching 600. Look at Nvidia pop here, though. I might almost buy this. How much time do we have until the opening bell? 2 minutes. Wait, no. I would buy this if it wasn't so close to the opening bell, just based off of how much Nvidia is popping right now. Some AI firms now riskier than banks before the 2008 crash, according to credit default swaps. Apple sales growth in India falls to a 6-year low of 18%. Aramco CEO says oil demand growth will be robust in 2025 and 2026. All right, look at Nvidia pop here. Testing highs of the day about a minute before the opening bell. Nvidia popping up here. All right, here we go. We got 1 minute left, chat. Nasdaq still tumbling down. I want to say this may be Apple. Yeah, Apple just dropping significantly after their sales. What was it? Apple sales growth in India falls to a 6-year low of 18%. Apple dropping. Nvidia's back up to highs of the day, though. And again, we got about 20 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. You'll catch up to the stream. Still dropping ahead of the opening bell. All right, guys. The opening bell's about 5 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. And let's go. Here's the open. All right, there's the bell. See what happens. Nvidia down. A lot of stuff opened up a little red. You gotta remember the previous close is this red level right here. Previous closing price. Apple started to rip back up, just closed the gap that it did on that news release. The market back up here. Yeah, earnings today is gonna be wild. All right, guys, I gotta wait a couple minutes before I trade this, to be honest. Based off of the volatility, gotta wait a second. Bitcoin back up a little bit here, though, but we do have some tech moves. Uptime. Hey, y'all, good luck. What we get? And here's Nvidia on the bottom. Still early to tell, though. We're only 2 minutes into the open. Nvidia sliding down here. Yeah, let's see what we get. There's 2 minutes. Nvidia still dropping. $575, $550 below us here. Scary again, to be honest. But $575 bouncing. Trying to retrace back up. A lot of this looks like it's Apple, to be honest. Yeah. Apple retracing back up. Nvidia still looking kind of red though, down to 183s. I mean, first move, sometimes the wrong move. It doesn't matter too much here. Yeah, it's been a little crazy. Nvidia still dropping. Look at this rebound back up here though, guys. Wow. Oh, 575 held. All right, we're now 3 minutes into the day, but I kind of have to wait here. Bitcoin back up. Google flying up to 292s is one of the reasons the market's doing okay. 292s for Google. Again, Bitcoin testing 91.5s. Here's the SPY rip back up as well. Again, I'm kind of waiting for a better trend to find something to piggyback off of this morning. I'm not necessarily trying to jump in now where it's kind of whippy. SPY moving up. You guys think we're going up or down from here? Let me know. I'm going to do a poll. Bullish or bearish move over the next 30 minutes? No vote on the poll. Nasdaq starting to rebound here. Look at this. SPY back up. Nvidia back up. Google broke highs 293s for Google. We're starting to creep back up a little bit here. $69% bullish. Look at these whips though, man. Big move up to 650, all the way back down. Nvidia creeped over the VWAP and the 200 exponential, and now it's pushing back down. Bitcoin popped over 91.5, and now it's pushing back down here. Google's still very strong though at 293.50s. Definitely a little whippy here. I'm not really confident in either direction at this point. I just gotta wait here. See if we get some better confirmation on either side. Apple's pushing up though. That looks good. Okay, so Apple's starting to move up. Nasdaq's following it. I might buy a pullback, maybe. Get a pullback to 650, I'll buy it. I need the pullback. I'm not gonna buy right here. Got a little retracement. I don't know if so for me. I'd rather 650. Looks strong. Google all the way up to 294.50 right now. 294.50. A lot of stuff starting to rebound, so maybe I'd still rather 650 here, but we might hold over the 200 exponential and keep popping up. Next level I got up here is 24.7s. Again, I'm also kind of worried about a choppy trend. That's why I want to pull back to 650, just because I think the market could honestly trend back down. Again, what's driving the market up right now is oh, here, I'm going to put this up here. 295, 296. Look at this. So many green candles for Google to be open. I could buy 665 again if I wanted, but I'm also kind of nervous. I'd rather 650. Google up to 296s. Wow. All right, I will buy this, I guess. Hesitant buying this. Maybe I'll take one micro. I'll add to it right here, see what we get. There we go. I'm gonna cut half of that immediately just to lock in like green on the trade. There we go. I cut the rest up there. 665 level held really nicely. Look at Google though, guys. Google almost up to 300s here. It's at 297s right now. 297s. AJ all day, Stone Buddy. If AJ doesn't win, something's iffy about it. Okay, Google up to 298s almost. Oh, target's green, yeah. That. Still looks strong. I need a larger dip though. 650. I'm gonna buy back here. Look for 650 now. We got to pull back here. That's close enough. Oh my goodness. What just happened? All right, I just closed that position up $75. Somehow, guys, I don't know how, but somehow I caught the bottom here at 600s. I was buying 650s, but somehow I caught the bottom at 600s and made $75 from it. I don't know what just happened, but I'll take it. Green is good. Still gonna buy this dip too if we get one of 650s here, I think. All right, we're in again. We'll add a little bit more here. We got some risks that we can take on the day now, but I'm not gonna take too big size here. Cut half of it right there just to limit risk. What are we doing? What's going on right now in markets? Why are we moving like this? Let's see. All right, we got another really beautiful trade here. Let's see if we can add to this now. There we go. I cut half of this up there. Now green on the rest. We can hold this. Getting some very big movement here. Love to see it. I'll triple my size here, quadruple my size, see if we pop up more. There we go. There we go. I'll take that off, that off. See if we go up some more here. Take another piece of that off. Try to hold the rest break even, but it's holding support at my level here. Still green. Going up more. I'm gonna add a little bit to this now. Take that off and then cut it right there. You love to see it. Very nice green trades. What else we got? Tapping the highs. I'll buy this a little bit longer here. Wait. I'll buy this here. Two. Pop up real quick. We're cutting this. I don't want to hold a drop. We're gonna get out. We're still up very nicely. Might add more. We'll try this level again. Pop right back up right here. I think we're trying to. There we go. Gonna hold. There we go. There. All right. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna switch accounts. We've locked in so much on this trade. Very nice. Really green. Google's helping us today. Again, we're gonna switch accounts. Got so much green in there. Starting to see a really nice bullish pop here. Watch 700s. Somehow I'm green on that trade. I don't know how, but hey. Again, check out Top Step. I'm trading on Top Step right now. No PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell. Very similar to day trading stocks. Zero PDT rule. Get you around the PDT rule. They give you a 50K demo. They test your skill with it. If you pass the test, you get a 50K funded account. 90% split. If you fail, you lose 50 bucks. Basically, right around there, approximately. You want to confirm it all with them. I can't guarantee anything. Genuinely useful for traders. Genuinely useful. And just a great way to learn. Great way to learn. Learning with a $50 risk and kind of like a souped up demo account makes sense. Helps you avoid bigger losses funding 10, 20, 30 grand, losing that like a lot of day traders end up doing. So again, if you want to check it out, they are a sponsor of mine. I am biased because I get paid by them. Confirm it all with them. I can't guarantee anything, but genuinely useful for traders. Genuinely useful. We're seeing even more rebounds right now. More rebounds. There's the link in chat if you want to check it out. More rebounds here. Looks like the longs were right today. Continue though. Might be a little late, IV, on the stream. And Google flying up to almost $300 a share for Google. All right, Google up to 300s here. Big moves on the upside, 91.7 thousand for Bitcoin. Nvidia bouncing up to 185.60s. Google tapping 300 right now. It's at 299.50. Hit 299.73. Really close to $300 a share. Bullish movement at the open. Are data out for unemployment? No. Netflix is taking the bidding process for Warner Bros. Reportedly very serious, according to CNBC. Nvidia and Google pushing markets this morning. All right, Google now over $300 a share. Over 300s. Wonder if I should pivot to a short thesis here. Or a short bias. And you could theorize that Google's at 300. It might reject it the whole dollar. At least have a small pullback, and we're kind of seeing one now. Doesn't mean it's going to hold down though, but remember, guys, we got the FOMC minutes report very soon today. Nasdaq still pushing here. Good. Retail's been getting hammered the last few days too. Top City? I don't know. We're pretty bullish at the open, but it doesn't mean it's going to hold. Yeah, we got 4 hours. We're going to stream it live, of course. But, see what happens. Start to see some dips though here. Look. Again, here's 300 for Google. U.S. mass layoff warning surge. 39,006 Americans received advanced layoff notices in October, which is the second highest since 2020. All right. Again, Here's 775 and 750 here. I don't know what to do. I'm very green. I'm on a different account now. Let me make sure I'm trading this account. Okay. Gotcha. I'm going to short the highs up here. I know it's kind of risky, but that's all right. The range is so big on the day. We're going to get into a little baby short here. We drop. Here we go. Okay. Better. I'm going against the momentum, but I think the risk reward's probably okay here. Might jump up and short this again at the high, see if we break down quickly. Already broke it up a lot today. There we go. I'm going to take half off right there just to lock in profits. Maybe add up to 775, but here we go. I'm going to double this down. And if we keep breaking down a little bit here. I take half off there. Keep flushing. I could add up to 775 too, is kind of what I'm looking at up there at 775. I'll try it. We'll go ahead and take the risk. We're already green on the day on this one. So. 5 tap, rejection here. See if we break down a little bit more. Problem is Google and Nvidia is still very strong. Maybe I shouldn't short this. I'll wait. So we did jump in a short here. I'll show you guys what we're in, but it's kind of risky right now, I think. But we're up a lot. I'm going to cover some of this here. And I'm going to still ride this down. We'll cut the rest right there. So we got out of that. So we're very green on the day. Slowly building this up. The short thesis was correct at 775. I wish I would have held it in the other account, but we capitalized it on the different one. Yeah, so listen, guys, I'm going to cut it a little bit early today. Check out Top Step. Beautiful way to help support the channel. No PDT in futures. Honestly, we're very green again on the day today. I will take it. But remember, not an investment professional, but genuinely useful for traders. Limits your risk. Teaches you how to trade with risking 50 bucks versus risking 10,000 or whatever it is. Like, most day traders lose their first couple accounts. So learning this way just makes sense in my opinion. But again, I'm biased, but it's genuinely useful. Check them out. 0 commission on Top Step X. No PDT rule in futures. Patterns are very similar. Here's the link. Again, in a couple hours, again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. Understand all this stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything. I am not an investment professional. Some of these are sponsored links. With that said, we got the Fed minutes report later. That I will redirect you guys to that stream. That stream is in about 4 hours. All right, we are going to cover it. It might move markets. Following this stream, we also have Nvidia earnings. We got Nvidia earnings later. We got Fed minutes report later. Markets are green today so far since the opening bell. At least a lot of stuff still red on the day. But we're pretty green. I'll take it. Green is good. Listen, I'll see you guys in a few hours. Be safe today. Markets could obviously turn the other way. We're going to stream Nvidia earnings, the Fed minutes report, and all that good stuff live. Be ready. I'll see you guys later.